Hey folks, it's Greg and Jan with Strange RV Tours. Today we're out in Canton, Texas at the Hillcrest Cemetery, and we're here to see two specific graves. We'll check out the rest of the cemetery too, or at least some of it, but let's have some fun. Now this Hillcrest Cemetery, from what I understand, is the oldest cemetery in Canton, Texas. A lot of people from the Civil War are buried here, and dignitaries from East Texas. Looks like the first grave marker, or first person that was buried here was buried in 1860.
They said the oldest headstone they found, the historians, genealogy guys, they said 1858 is the oldest grave that they found.
Okay.
Now, these folks wrote a book, and they did a lot of research. It took them 5 years. This place was all overgrown with weeds and vines, and they did so much research. It's Lawrence Greer and Miss Mintz, something like that. Anyway, they have a book, Beneath the Stones. That's their book. But they did a lot of research on everybody. And there's over 2,300 graves here. But when they were doing the research, they only found information on 1,094. And then they found 169 graves that nobody knew about. And there's like 250 children buried here, and they did all this research on everybody that's been buried here, as much as they could. And so I found out a little bit of information.
The cemetery is 3 acres in size, and it sits right literally behind or in front of Canton Trade Days. They've got some really nice headstones here. Jacob A. Evans, born April 30th, 1870, died July 23rd, 1898. Bertie Mae McCauley, born March 30th, 1881, died October 29th, 1900. Boy, there's a big headstone over here. Thought that last one was big. This one's huge. Dr. W.G. Johnson, born November 28, 1859, died October 31st, 1893.
Supposedly, this is sectioned off in 3 sections. The African American families in one section, the Hillard family in another, and whoever's related to them, and then another section for just about anybody else.
And this cemetery is known to be haunted. There's been reports of people who go to Canton Trade Days every month that refuse to walk through this cemetery
Yeah.
to go to Trade Days because of the creepy feelings that they get.
Wow.
Janet, have you heard of any apparitions or anything out here?
All I heard is like one girl said they cut through on the road over here to go to the Trade Days, and they heard somebody following them, and there was nobody behind them, so they would never walk through here again.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, now back here is where we're headed. We know where the 2 graves are that we're going to look at. And there's this large area that's fenced in over here for one family. We'll show you that. But there's one really unusual gravesite here. It'll be the second one that we'll show you that is discerning. All right, before we show you these two grave sites, let's take you over into this fenced-in area. There's a Texas historical marker here for this family. Actually, it's for one man, a member of the family. This is his gravestone here. Father Thomas J. Towles, 1842 to 1909. Thomas Jefferson Towles, the youngest of 7 children born to William and Elizabeth Jones Towle. Thomas Jefferson Towle was born on December 29, 1843 in Jones County, Georgia, after losing his father in 1847 and his mother in 1854. Thomas came to Van Zandt County, Texas in 1857 with his brother, Adam Towles, who settled and farmed near Canton. Thomas received his education at a private subscription school in Canton and at Mackenzie College near Clarksville, while also assisting Adam with the farm. At age 17, Thomas entered the Confederate Army in the 3rd Texas Cavalry as a private in Company G, South Kansas Texas Regiment, which was one of the first units to serve outside of Texas. In May of 1862, Towles was promoted to 2nd lieutenant in charge of a company of cavalry scouts. Eventually assigned to Ross's brigade, he participated in many well-known battles, including Vicksburg and skirmishes in northern Georgia. It was during this time that Lieutenant Towles became one of General Ross's most confidential advisors. On February 14, 1864, while on furlough from the Army, Towles married Nancy Ann Nolan in Georgia. After the war, he returned to Van Zandt County, where he became one of the more influential citizens of Canton and Van Zandt County. He was one of the larger farmers and stock raisers and operated a gin. As a Canton businessman, he was a liquor dealer, grocer, and mercantile store owner. As a politician, he served as the county sheriff, tax collector, and as a representative in the 15th and 21st Texas legislatures. He was Canton's leader in the county seat war in an 1877 incident whereby Towles led and won a legal battle against an election which caused the removal of the county seat from Canton to Wills Point. Towles was the father of 7 children. He died January 1st, 1909, leaving a lasting legacy of service to his community. Yeah, that's strange. He's got 2 stones here. He's got a headstone here. Whoop.
And I guess this might be like the original, maybe?
This looks like the one that they would give to him for being in the military.
Oh, okay.
And then this one, I guess, was placed here later. All right, let's go look at these 2 grave sites. All right, this is the first grave site we want to show you. Daughter, sister, mother, Susan D. Phillips, December 5th, 1950 to January 1st, 1977.
So,
do you want to tell them about this girl?
This is sad. She came up missing in 1976. Was missing until she was found 3 years later, shot, and in a trunk of a car in the bottom of the Trinity River. So this is still not solved. So they went to go try to find her husband. Well, they found him dead in the bottom of Gregg County Pond. So they both were murdered. It's never been solved. She was placed to rest here, and husband's name was Billy, I believe, and he's somewhere else. I don't know where he's buried, but Mr. Greer and Miss Mize that did all this research, they really want to reopen the case because nowadays they've got a lot better scientific data and stuff they can do.
Forensics, DNA.
Yeah, and so they're the ones that started the book. Lawrence and Lawrence, I got Lawrence Greer and Miss Mize. They both co-authored the book together. When they started doing this, they had no intention of doing a book, but with all the information that they found out about all these people, they said, yeah, let's do a book. So anyway, they are trying to get the case open again, because this is really sad.
It is sad. She's only
26.
26, yeah. 20. It says 27 by
Well,
those dates, but those dates are off.
that's when, I guess they're not sure the exact date of death, because she was
In the water.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, now I want to show you guys something here. As we walk along, all of the headstones here are facing east and west, which is the traditional way that people are buried in cemeteries in the United States. They all pretty much face this way or that way. So as you can see, right now we're looking at the backs of most of the headstones, but there's one headstone here that's buried north and south, and that's a big no-no. We're going to take you over to this gravesite and show it to you and tell you about this gentleman. Yeah, I don't know if I'd call him a gentleman, but yeah, I shouldn't have said that, I guess. Lots of moles here, huh?
Yeah.
All these little
Mounds.
of dirt or moles. Canton has a lot of moles. All right, coming up on the gravestone now. D.C. White hung in Canton, February 3rd, 1882. Made by Ira Murphy, January 27th, 1966. All right, you want to give them the spiel on this one, Jan? Because this is kind of a tragic situation.
Well, I was told that he actually had committed 2 murders, and the one he got convicted of was he murdered a salesman, and he was convicted in, let's see, June of 1880, and then 2 years later he was hung. Okay.
He committed robbery on that salesman also, I believe, before he murdered him. So he actually had several charges against him at the time.
Yeah. And his name was actually Daniel Columbus. Daniel Columbus was his name. And there's only one other person that was hung here in Canton. But let's see. The reason he's sitting north and south is because of his reputation and what he did. And
they're not even actually sure that this is actually his gravesite. It's in this vicinity, but this gravesite was put up
in 66.
Oh goodness, 84 years after he died.
Yeah, and it's out here by itself, so it doesn't look like anybody else is around him, and who would want to be, you know? But that's about.
Yeah, literally, if you look around, there's no graves
Yeah.
in the vicinity of where his is.
Yeah.
So, and the grave is not taken care of, obviously. Look at the slant on the headstone there. But basically, he was ostracized not only from the community, but also apparently from the cemetery.
Yeah, and that's just concrete. The others are marble.
Yeah.
Looks like.
Yeah.
But this whole area is 3 acres, and I haven't deciphered where, where they said it was 3 sections. I don't see where it's really blocked off except for the driveway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, whatever that is.
It is a neat old spooky cemetery.
Yeah. And I bet they put those crosses, Greer and Mize, I bet they put those temporary crosses there because they found...
Marking where they found people?
Yeah. They researched funeral home documents, newspapers, census, everything they could find, family history, whatever, find out where everybody was to begin with. And then they started doing background history on people. And they said, there are so many soldiers here too. You know, obviously during the Civil War we lost a lot of men and women, I guess.
Yeah. All right, we have a historical marker here for Edmund A. Wynn. And the Wynn community, I guess the community in Canton known as the Wynn community, was named after him. He was a black gentleman, and I believe he was a former slave, right? Yeah, he was a former slave, and he helped establish the Wynn community, and he was also a farmer in the area, and he was very successful as a farmer. And because he was successful, other former slaves moved to the Canton area to start farming. So he helped the black community out a lot. And this is his gravestone here. Edmund A. Wynn, 1850 to 1931, until the day break and the shadows flee away. Song of Solomon 2:17. We were surprised by this historical marker because he wasn't listed. Mr. Edmund Wynn wasn't listed as being one of the famous people here in the grave, or in the cemetery. So this was kind of a shock. I don't know why they didn't do that.
He's married at least twice, because here's Martha.
Yeah, Janet just said he was married at least twice, because here's Martha.
And here's Ella back here.
And here's another wife of his, Ella.
There's no farting in heaven.
Where did it say that?
Right there. Look. That's hilarious.
True. It actually says there is no farting in heaven on her gravesite.
She must have been a hoot.
Either that or she was gassy.
Yeah. So this is all the Wynn family through here.
Yes, it is.
That must be. Oh,
this one's all the way up to 1981. Bessie Wynn Bowles, mother.
1881.
Jesse C. Wynn.
Died a year after.
Here's another Jesse C. Wynn, but it's a different person, so it must have been named after him.
1932, 1985, 1916.
Yep.
So, okay.
Strange RV tours will take you places with Greg and Janet's smiling faces. You might see a crazy flavored soda review or some tips to fit your RV too. So come along, won't you join us, friend, as we discover what's around the bend. Just sit right back in your easy chair. Strange RV Tours is on the air. Strange RV Tours is on the air.